that leads into Campaign 9. This is another Jaden campaign. Don't worry, Ross gets to do the next one, so we can finally start to even out with how many campaigns we have. There's definitely a big gap. So Campaign 9 stars a new member of the Rajak family, who is the second oldest. Say hello to Natalie Rajak, who is a motherly figure to pretty much everybody. She is also a very good cook, and she's something that's known as a battle mage. Specifically because she is a wizard. Now, as a battle mage, this is a card we also found online in the workshop, but one that I actually really like. Now, what it does is it gives you plus 50 stamina. Now, you say, that's pretty damn good. In exchange, though, all your magic becomes melee range. All of it. All your magic is basically limited to melee range. Now, that's both cool and awful, because my character had Pyroblast. And if she Pyroblasts, she's fucking dead. But luck would have it that I also got to get the card, which basically turns me into Monkey D. Luffy, and gets me an extra attack range of 3. Which means my melee attacks have 1 to 3 range, hence my magic has 1 to 3 range. So I could close range fire punch people, and I could cast a Pyroblast from 3 spaces away. It was pretty handy dandy. Now, if Sophie was the ice mage, I would have to say that Natalie is the fire mage of the family. She had all fire spells, essentially. I think Arcane Beam. I don't remember. Something like that. So what happened from here is... Oh, wait, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. The other members, right. Zuper spent a lot of time with his RP this time around. He gets a masked figure, plays a violin, he's a bard, I think, and he's from the future, essentially, or, well, sort of. He's basically a time-traveling lost soul. There's a lot more to his RP that I'm probably going to just be like, hey, here's the link to Zuper's RP video, because that was one of the few times he did an RP video. It's pretty intensive. Jaden's character was the furry dinosaur. That's all I'm going to say about that. And the fourth character was another time traveler who I believe got more screen time than Jaden's character. It was pretty silly, but the fourth character is basically who Jaden overtook as his character that campaign. He did not care much about his furry dinosaur. It's very sad. The furry dinosaur got the shaft. That said, though, our goal this time was that we had just been paid to do a very important job, and that was rescuing a princess. Hey, now that's not a stereotypical goal, right? That was basically our goal. So we were given collateral. We were each given a legendary weapon. The first time in all of our campaigns we were given a legendary weapon. We were given legendary cards, and we're essentially given those so that we could scale our way into this tower. Now, in this way, each of us got our own little legendary weapons. Zuper and Jaden got 2 because they rolled high, and me and the fourth player got 1. Now, Jaden got basically a legendary spell scroll, any kind of his choosing. And I forget what else he got. I think he got the slimy shovel. I think so. Zuper got a dragon staff and something else. I don't really remember. I got the dragon egg. And the fourth character got the cutting scissors twice. So we're just like, fine. I guess you're just getting the cutting scissors. We rolled it the first time. We're like, nah, it's a little overpowered. Then you get to the second time. We're like, okay, fine. Fuck it. Just get the goddamn scissors. The skizzers. So that spell scroll that Jaden had, yeah, that was used immediately. Because he attribute rolled into I Am So Sorry. Which basically meant that we would have had to control his RP for the rest of the thing. And Zuper's like, oh, this is going to be fun. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. And Jaden's like, oh, greater lay on hands, or whatever the hell it was. That's not going to happen. So I'm like, whatever. He lost one of his legendaries because of it, which was good enough It means the attribute got its work. I don't even think it really would have mattered. Like, we would have given his character more life than he gave it, to be honest. He got the furry dinosaur, so it didn't get to do anything, really. Also, keep in mind, this was a female kobold, and it looked like a furry dinosaur. This was also the first and only female Jaden has ever done, and it got no RP. None. Absolute zilch. Which was just legendary, but whatever. So at that end, we basically toured around, we jumped on a boat, we sailed around. There wasn't too much story insanity here. We basically saved a kobold family. They were grateful. We fed them. Mostly I fed them because, again, my character's a maid of sorts. She's a family endowed lady who also likes to cook for people. She's pretty good at it, as was proven through the campaign. She's also a klutz, which turned out to be absolutely hilarious when there was this part with a gate, like laser beam shooting gate statues. And they fried one of the porks that was with us. We got a group of porks, fried one of them. So then I go up to him, like, that's pretty rude of you. The statue turns to shoot his laser beam at me. I trip over another pork, basically giving them a free kill. He rolls a 1, and he laser beams the other statue, and they both have the laser beam war, and they both kill each other. It was pretty entertaining. I had really stupid luck like that. But whatever, it worked out. That said, we finally got to the end goal, which was where the princess was being held. And it was being held by none other than the fucking boss. The first boss from Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure. And no matter how much Jaden says it was a shadow figure, I'm like, no, Jaden, that's Shadow Ganon from Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure on the GameCube. The very first world. It was, like, totally obvious. It was really funny. This is the first of... Not the first, but, and it'll certainly not be the last time that Jaden pulls out a tile that me or Zuko recognize that he didn't realize. Or maybe he'll just pull out the tile anyway, even if he does recognize it. Who knows? That said, there are a lot of people over there at the pool. Dude, I want to go get in the pool. I'm probably going to do a run and then go get in the pool. That sounds awesome. Yeah, sidetracked. So that said, we fought the guy. My character actually died, but we rewound time through... I believe there's one of the abilities we had that allows us to rewind time, so my character didn't actually die, which was great. Natalie lived another day. She would have been willing to sacrifice herself for her lovely little family she had gathered here, this group of mercenaries of sorts. And ultimately, we were able to save the princess, save the kid. There were 2 summoners who had summoned the fucking boss from 4 Swords Adventure. We punched him. There was actually a part where he summoned one of the gods. I forget which one he summoned. I think it was John. And he got fucked over because he picked right. And John usually always goes with left. Because, hey, I'm left-handed. And I'm like John, so lefty. Though Jaden will never listen to this, so we'll never know that fact. Zuper will, though. Possibly. So yeah, that's a little tip, Zuper. John usually goes for the left. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay, that said, we wrapped up, and that was Campaign 9. See, that was much faster than 7 or 8. I'm not sure why those 2 were so long. Well, I guess Season 1 ending and Zuper's Hell campaign.